Black people in America, I need you to hear me. As a Black American, I need you to understand that our ancestors have built this country brick by brick. Blood, sweat, and tears went into building this country. Yet, when we look around, we are less than 1% of the land, the businesses, everything. Yet we are the biggest consumers of a lot of these businesses. We have paved the way. Our ancestors have died just so we can be free. Yet other people are thriving off of American resources and we have nothing. Do y'all understand that? We have nothing. And yet we're still not seen, not respected by everybody who's coming here and thriving off a foundation that our ancestors died over and built. Do y'all understand that? We are literally the blueprint of a lot of the culture, a lot of the influence. We need to protect, rebuild, and reclaim what's ours. We are not a trend, we are the foundation. Yet people try to give us crumbs. We have nothing, guys. Yet we open up America so all these other countries, all other Africans, all other ethnicities can thrive. And we are less than 1% and we don't have anything. And we constantly spend our money with all these other corporations that don't benefit the Black community. I think you guys, we really need to figure this out. This should make you angry that our ancestors built all this shit, yet we still don't have shit. We don't have shit. And a lot of Black people are constantly trying to prove that they have money, spending money with these big corporations. We still don't have land. We still don't have a bunch of shit. And I'm not discrediting a lot of the Black people who do have things, but we're not the majority. Look at the statistics. Look at the rate. Our ancestors built this shit. Blood, sweat, and tears. They've died. And we've paved the way for so many other people to come here and thrive, and we don't have anything. You guys need to wake up. And it's been on my heart heavy, so I had to make a video about it. There are more, just looking at the Amanda Seals video, there are a lot of Black people in America who think that Black people don't amount to anything in our own communities, and it's not our fault. But we have to stick together, guys, and there's a revolution that needs to come about because our ancestors built this shit and we don't have shit. We don't have shit.
Oh yes, my Black brothers and sisters, right? We all stand together as living proof that slavery failed. Our ancestors were chained, beaten, silenced, and sold like animals. Yet, their blood runs through our veins. Their strength keeps us standing, and their prayers are the reason we are still here today, right? If you're a Black American, just note that you are a beautiful soul. Don't give up, no matter what life throws at you, okay? When we talk about slavery, we are not speaking of the distant past, right? We are speaking of wounds that echo through generations. The trauma passed from mother to child, the pain caved into our history, and the wealth stolen to build nations that tried to erase us. But hear this, the greatest revenge of our ancestors is not hatred. The greatest revenge is survival. It is the fact that we breathe, speak, and rise in a world that was designed for us to disappear. Their revenge is in our success. Every Black doctor, lawyer, activist, scientist, teacher, leader, and entrepreneur is a victory song for those who picked cotton and carried chains. Every time was shine. We declare that slavery did not win. Their revenge is in our culture. From the rhythm of our drums to the power of our music, from gospel to hip hop, from soulful to storytelling, our creativity has conquered the world. What was once mocked is now celebrated. Okay, so let's even watch more of this video. I'll come back to discuss.
I feel like being a Black American is the true definition of the rose that grew through the concrete. When you look at the history of Black Americans, from the very beginning, our experience was plagued with a plight of struggle that was immeasurable. To have a group of people stolen from their homes, transported across the ocean, dispersed across multiple different islands, continents, and to have a culture come out of it that is so recognized worldwide now is highly impressive and really not talked about enough. There are people out here today wearing an NFL jersey, a fitted cap, and some Timberlands that have never in their life met a Black American, but are wearing the cultural garments, so to speak, of this culture. And this culture went through enslavement. It went through years of being suppressed by law in a nation that didn't really want them, but stole them and without their permission forced them to be a part of this society. Through their struggle, Black Americans were able to create their own spiritual practice, their own vernacular, their own foods, their own school systems, and of course their own capital. Today, Black American culture is one of the most recognizable cultures in the world and also one of the most replicated. Whether we look at the trends in K-pop music, whether we look at the fact that fried chicken can be found all across the world, whether we look at the amount of people that cite macaroni and cheese as their favorite dish, Black American culture has stamped its place into the fabric of the modern world we see today and often leads the modern world in the trends of tomorrow. When people deny the impact of Black American culture and the impressiveness of what Black Americans were able to build from their own struggle, it is honestly a delusional form of gaslighting. It also shows how little they actually know about the history of the transatlantic slave trade and everybody who was impacted by it. And it was the world, and the world is still impacted by it today. This trade of people from Africa to the Americas was so impactful that it even disrupted the natural order of the world. Suddenly, we have the migration pattern of sharks that is put into their brain naturally changing because so many bodies were being thrown off of ships as they crossed the ocean. And sharks now rewired themselves to figure out that I would get more food and nutrients by following the path of this slave trade. That is just one small way. Enslavement changed the entire fabric of how we view humanity, how we view work, and how we view culture. Despite all the evils going on with enslaved peoples in the Americas, every day I am in awe of the world my ancestors were able to build for me despite going through such a harsh and seemingly unending struggle. And this is why I say,
before we start, this story is heavy. It's not easy to hear, and it's not supposed to be. If you need a minute, take it. We'll see you in the next one. They told you slavery was a sad story, a tragedy, something you could learn about for 5 minutes, pass a quiz, and move on. They lied. Slavery wasn't sadness. It was terror, blood, and survival stitched into the soil of this country. In the 1930s, the U.S. government tried to document living memories of slavery. They expected nostalgia, but instead they got horror, and they buried most of it. Sarah Gujar, born around 1816, remembered it clearly. She said night and day, it was all work. No rest, no play. The lash was going all the time. Work till you dropped. Dreams beaten out before they could even form. Fountain Hughes, born in Virginia, said in his own voice, "When we were slaves, we belonged to people. They sold us like they sell horses and cows and hogs. Owned, used, discarded." And then there's Millie Barber, who told a truth so sharp, it'll leave you bleeding if you listen closely. Well, my pa belongs to one man, my ma belongs to another. 4 or 5 miles apart caused some confusion, mix-up, and heartaches. My pa have to get a pass to come see my mama, and he comes sometimes without the pass. Controllers catch him way up the chimney hiding one night. They stripped him right before my mom and gave him 39 lashes, with her crying and hollering louder than he did. Let that sit for a minute. You needed permission to love. You needed permission to see your family. And if you didn't have it, they beat you half to death in front of the people that you love the most. And somehow America still wants to tell this same old story like it was complicated. The real slave narratives aren't about loyalty. They're not about singing in the fields or kind owners. They're about blood, terror, chains, and survival that roared louder than a whip ever could. You hear me? The next time somebody tries to hand you a whitewashed version of our history, remember that our ancestors didn't crawl through hell just for their stories to be silenced. They screamed it into the roots of this land. And we're the ones that are carrying their voices forward, loud, fierce, and impossible to bury again.
Right? The same way I tell people all the time who are white working class people who hear about reparations for black people and automatically get upset. You know, they hear the word Africa and they're furious already. But the problem is this. The money doesn't come from you. No, it comes from the financial institutions that banked and built their stock exchange on labor, on the payback that they got from slavery. Because reparations is not actually what African people are asking for in this country. African American people are asking for the other half of reparations. You see, America already paid reparations at the end of the Civil War to slave owners. They gave them money per black person that they let free. And they refused to honor the people that were actually victimized. So until you do that, you will always be cursed America. And you can call me a communist, a socialist, but you know what? It doesn't matter what you call me. You know that I'm right.
Because white Americans have been living with African Americans even from the day when our ancestors came from Africa as enslaved people. White Americans will work with African Americans who want to work. Latinos will not work with African Americans who want to work. There's a difference. There's a difference. White Americans will work with African Americans who want to work. But Latinos will not work with African Americans who want to work. Latinos only work with Latino. So if you ask me, I can tell you that from my own personal self, that Latinos are more discriminatory and racist towards African Americans than even you.
We have been black powerless people for 400 years. I've seen people boxed in, black children, in Harlem of New York. I've seen people boxed in, black people, in Chicago, Illinois, in the slums, with the babies sick, rats eating on the babies. So what we mean by black power is we mean to have not only black political power, but black economic power, to have a voice in the educational system, that our kids will know, not only the black kids, but the white kids should know the kind of contribution that have been made by black people throughout this country. We want to determine some of our destiny. And this is what black power means. We want to have something to say about our destiny.
You know, real talk, the only thing that keeps me going sometimes is knowing that my ancestors were enslaved people. Knowing they survived the transatlantic slave trade. Then they survived slavery. Not just in the United States, but Cuba, Puerto Rico, and Jamaica. They survived that, then they survived Jim Crow. They survived segregation. I can handle whatever happens next because my ancestors went through worse. And I am my ancestors. My DNA is their DNA. I can do it. That's sometimes the only thing that keeps me going.
Ask myself a question about what is it that I should celebrate over this week. You know, we are living in a country and in a time where our very existence is under attack. We are living in a day and a time where, as our ancestors who were free men and women in the North were stopped and asked for their papers, and whether they could or could not produce them, they could be bound and placed back into slavery. It sounds like exactly what we see with our brown brothers and sisters who are being asked by ICE agents for their paperwork, and regardless if they are citizens or not, they are being detained and some being deported. But it was Martin Niemöller, who was a theologian and a pastor, that once said, "First they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out, for I was not socialist." Then they came for the trades unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trades unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not Jew. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. I submit to you, my brothers and sisters, on this day, we know that we come from a struggle. So today, it may be our brown brothers and sisters who are axed on the streets for their paperwork. But tomorrow, it could be us. It is easy for us to be in our own homes and act like what is happening in America isn't happening to us until it happens to us. And let me be clear, this is not just for Black America, this is for all America. Because the rolling back of justice and the rolling back of laws in this country will not just affect Black and brown people, it will affect all people. But I gotta tell you, this week I am in deep thought about where we go as a people, as where we go as a collective. I think about what my great-grandmother and my great-great-grandmother would say, what my great-great-grandfather would say in this time. So I ponder and I ask you to do the same with me. Let us enjoy and celebrate what our ancestors stood for, but let that celebration remind us of what we must stand for in this day and time. What is Juneteenth to a Black man and woman in 2025? That question is still to be answered, but we are the ones to answer it. We all we got, but we have always been all we need. God bless you.
All right, racists, let's talk about your fear of karma. Racist America, you piece of shit country. You better be glad that Black people aren't actively seeking revenge. Truly laughable that your biggest fear is that Black Indigenous people will do to you what you've done to them. And while it is your biggest fear, you may also be right. Either way, there isn't a thing you can do about it. Racist America is terrified of Black violence. It fears Black memory. It fears that the targets that they've learned skills from, profiled, incarcerated, surveilled, and killed might one day stop asking for justice and start taking inventory. Let's be precise. The racist American psyche is haunted by Black rage. It is haunted by a subconscious knowledge that if revenge were ever truly on the table, America would not survive the week. They're aware that they're grossly outnumbered. They're aware that their soft bodies are fragile and unable to sustain impact trauma. And they're definitely aware that Black people are light years ahead in physical activity. This is why racist America builds entire media industries around the scary Black man. It's not literally about Black people. It's projection. It should be viewed as a confession. They imagine Black people as predators because they know deep down they are way worse than a predator. They cast Black people as threats because their entire civilization is built on stolen breath and borrowed time. You see it every time a white woman clutches her purse. Every time a cop takes his gun out before he sees what's in the person's hand. Every time the suburbs panic when Black families move in. They don't see citizens, they see karma, because they know the truth. No one is policed this hard unless they hoped Black people were unaware of the real origin story. But here's the irony. Black people have never, as a people, organized around vengeance. Even when they bombed your cities, poisoned your leaders, laughed while they beat your children on camera, you responded with coalitions instead of counter-terror. The fear they feel isn't based on what is. It's based on what they know they deserve. And the ugliest truth? They fear Black revenge because they know what they would do if it were them. And what keeps them up at night? Is knowing that you should seek revenge. And the only reason why any of them sleep at night is because Black people, once again, chose dignity over destruction. For now.
Black Americans, let me teach you something about your history, especially if you're FBA or a Black descendant of American slaves. Did you know that you're probably psychic? Yeah, that's true. Same thing was happening with Harriet Tubman. Her premonition ability, or the ability to see the future, that came from her father. She inherited that from her father. That's in her own words. Look up the book, Moses of Her People. It's in the book. She even said that. Her father, Benjamin Ross, and he actually had the ability to predict the weather, and he even predicted the Mexican-American War. Yes, our hoodoo, our conjure abilities, that is inherited. It is an epigenetic magical ability. You are the only one on planet Earth who has that. You have rejected your hoodoo, your power, your birthright. You can all do the exact same stuff. But the white man has told you that you couldn't. Harriet Tubman could, Mary Ellen Pleasant could, Gullah Jack could. Why can't you?
Alright, to my black brothers and sisters, all I have to tell you is to walk with your head high. Remember that you carry the strength of kings and queens, warriors and survivors, freedom fighters and dreamers, okay? Remember that slavery tried to erase us, but here we stand louder, stronger and prouder than ever. Our ancestors' revenge is alive in us, okay? If you're a black and you're listening to this video, please share this video to our black brothers and also subscribe to my channel. Also know that you're a strong person. It is alive in every steps we take towards it, okay? And to those who once tried to bury us, let them remember they planted seeds and we have grown into a mighty forest of strength, resilience, and unstoppable power. We are the ancestors' revenge and we are the future, okay? If you're a black American, you're my black brother, you're my black sister, you're coming across this video, never give up. We are going there, we are getting there. It's just a gradual process. Don't be tired and don't give up. If you're coming across my video for the very first time, please do well to subscribe to this channel and also click the like button, okay? See you in my next video.